Hey guys, I thought I'd do something a little different today, and sort of more like musical enrichment than an actual lesson or exercises. I just wanted to introduce you to the idea of what's behind Indian rags or ragas. You'll find when you study Indian music there are multiple spellings and pronunciations for words. Rag and raga are interchangeable. So there are. So rag. Let me get my page open here so I don't forget what I'm doing. So a raga is the basic form of classical Indian music. It also underlies a lot of popular Indian music. There are thousands and thousands of rags, but they all come from 10 basic families. The families are called Thaats, T-H-A-A-T, Thaat. And basically a Thaat is a scale. We would think of it as a scale, but I want to emphasize that a rag itself, the Thaat may be a scale, but a rag is something very far beyond just a scale. There are all sorts of rules, and I'll give an example of a simple rule later on. But so these 10, I want to just show you these 10 families, and I know you guys like to improvise, and so this may give you some ideas, some new ideas of what's possible in terms of just new notes to play. So the first one, and this is the one usually that when you're a Westerner that you start with, and that's just a major scale. It's parallel to a major scale in Western music, and it's called the Bilawal, B-I-L-A-W-A-L, Bilawal Thaat, and that is simply, so I'm in E here. Okay, simple enough. The next one, and again, usually this is one of the ones that beginners play, and this is called Kalyan, K-L-Y-A-N, Kalyan Thaat. Now this is a major scale, but it has a sharp fourth in it. In the West, we'd call it a Lydian mode, or a flat 5 sound. In Hindustani music, there is no, you never are allowed to alter the fifth. The fifth is, I guess really the best way to put it, the fifth is sacred. And so you can't sharp or flatten the fifth. But so if you want that note lower, the half step lower than the fifth, you sharp the fourth. And so, again, major scale with just a sharp 4. That's the sharp 4. Okay. The next one is called Marwa or Marwa, M-A-R-W-A. That is, again, a major scale, but now with 2 deviations. The second note is flat, and again the sharp 4th. So you have there's that flatted second. The next one builds on Marwa, and that's called Purvi, P-U-R-V-I, or sometimes P-O-O-R-V-I. Also, sometimes you'll see, instead of V, you'll see W for all of these names. So that, again, has a flatted second and the sharp 4, but then instead of the major 6, like in Marwa, it has a minor 6. So it's... Okay. And then there's Bhairav next, B-H-A-I-R-A-V. This is one that in Western, Marwa and Purvi have no parallel in Western music. Bhairav does. Usually people will label it in Western music as a double harmonic major scale. And you might recognize this. This is one that when Western composers want to sound exotic or Eastern, they will use this. Now, Bhairav has a flatted second It has the major third, fourth, fifth, minor sixth, major seventh root. Whoops. Okay, so you hear that kind of exotic. This is the thing that people think, oh, that's exotic Eastern music. The next one is called Bhairavi, and that is just like Bhairav, but with an I on the end, Bhairavi. Bhairavi is the same as the Phrygian mode in Western music, and so it has a flatted second, has a minor third, fourth or fifth, a flat or a minor sixth, a flat or a minor seventh. Hear that kind of in Spanish music, you know, again, stereotypical Spanish music. Okay, next one is Asavari, Asavari. Asavari is exactly the same as the natural minor scale in Western music, and so it's just it's your regular old minor scale, root, second, minor third, fourth, fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, root. Okay, then there's Kafi Tat, that's Kafi, and that is the same as the Dorian mode. So the difference between Kafi and Asavari is Asavari has that minor sixth, Kafi has a major sixth. Okay, two more. There is Todi Tat, Todi, and Todi Tat is one that doesn't have any relationship to Western scale. It's probably the hardest on Western ears. It has a minor second, a minor third, a sharp fourth, fifth, minor sixth, and major seventh. So it's okay, and then the last one is real familiar to Westerners. It's Khamaj, Khamaj, and that is Mixolydian. It's just a major scale with a flatted seventh. Okay. Now I mentioned that rags are more than just those scales. There are rules. There are rules. A lot of formal technicalities. There are rules for the order you're allowed to play notes. There are rules for which notes you're allowed to ornament and shake. Just a real simple rule. One of the first, I mentioned Kalyan was one of the first rags that you learn. There's a formal rag called rag Yaman Kalyan, and Yaman Kalyan is has basically one rule, and that is you can never go from the major seventh directly to the root. So if you're here and you want to get to the root, you have to skip it. Okay, so the same goes for the fifth. If you're on that sharp four, remember this is has that sharp four in Kalyan. If you're on that fourth and you want to go to the fifth, you can't go right to the fifth. You have to skip that and come back to it, like so. And so the scale might be, if I go all the way up an octave, I would start on the seventh, say. Now you are allowed to come down in sequence. There are more rules, less so rules than there are in certain rags. There are two notes that that get emphasis. There's the vadi, that's the single most important note that you're supposed to play a lot, and then there's the shamvadi, and that is the one that's still important, but you play it a little less often than the others. And then there are also usually 3 or 4 characteristic phrases that tell people exactly what rag you're playing. And so like a characteristic phrase in Kalyan, that's a real typical phrase. Anyway, so that's just a basic idea of Indian rags, where they come from. Obviously, it's a lifetime of understanding, of studying and trying to understand the various rules. You know, there's the whole spiritual angle. Rags are supposed to be played at certain times of the day. Certain rags for, morning, afternoon, evening, late evening, midnight, certain times of the year, certain seasons, the rainy season, different holiday or holy days. Anyway, you get the idea. And so, maybe you found this interesting. Thanks.